Hello, folks, and welcome to this week's edition of Double K's Fresh Take. As of this week's edition, I'm going to be talking about Major League Baseball and their postseason preview. And I'm going to try to let you know or give you some insight as to who is going to be making it to the World Series. So if the playoffs started today, Baltimore and Toronto would be your two wild card teams. Texas would be your all-around best record in the AL, with the Cleveland Indians and Boston Red Sox both winning their division, a series that Boston leads 4-2 right now. In the NL, we would have the Giants and Mets playing for a wild card, the wild card spot in, or to playing in a wild card game to who faces the Cubs, and then you have the Dodgers and the Nationals facing off in the other divisional series, the series that the Dodgers are winning right now 5-1. Your current division leaders or division winners are the Boston Red Sox, who have won the American League East now, are ahead of the Blue Jays by 5.5 games. Let's see. Then you have on the National League side the Washington Nationals, who have locked up their playoff spot. By securing their division with a 91-64 record, 8.5 games better than the New York Mets. All right, so moving down to the other conferences, you would have Cleveland, whose magic number is now 1, who has a 7-game lead on Detroit for that American League Central title. It's about to lock up. They have about a 99% chance of locking up that division. In the National League Central, the Chicago Cubs have already locked up their division. With a 99-56 record. So St. Louis, they are 18 games back and hoping to make a playoff run as a wild card, but I don't see that happening. As recently, I believe right now they're a half game behind the Giants, but we'll get that in a minute. The next is the AL West, which Texas is pretty much locked up with a 9.5 game lead over Seattle. And the Rangers with 92-64 record are the best in the rest. I believe this is their first or second division title in a row. First time that they won back-to-back since they went to those back-to-back World Series a while back. The NL West is led by the Dodgers. For the 4th year in a row by the Dodgers, and let's see if the Dodgers can actually get themselves out of the first or second round of the playoffs this particular year, which they haven't been able to do in a while. So Dodgers lead the Giants by 8 games with about 6 left to play, so that's why they've locked up the division with a 90-66 record. The Giants are right behind them with an 82-74 record. The AL wild card, like I said, is led by a game and a half by Toronto, who is leading Baltimore, who's a game and a half ahead of Detroit for the second wild card spot. Once again, there's about 6 games to play, so there's still a lot of potential shakeups that could happen here. But I'm going to go ahead and say Toronto and Baltimore win. Mets and Giants. Mets are a game ahead of the Giants. The Giants are a half game ahead of St. Louis. That matchup can go anywhere, but we're going to go on ahead, and for the sake of this particular matchup, we're going to say New York Mets and San Francisco Giants lock up the wild cards. All right, so taking a look at the playoffs, like I said, if they were to start today, here's how I see things shaking out. I see Toronto over Baltimore in the wild card game, going on to face Texas again in the divisional round. And Boston and Cleveland facing off. I see Boston winning the series against Cleveland, just because Boston's really good. I love Cleveland to death, and everybody thinks that the Indians have a solid shot at the World Series. But me personally, I believe that the Indians will get knocked out in the first round by the Red Sox, probably 4-2 or so. So that will be who will face off with the Red Sox in the AL Championship Series. I believe that will be Texas this year. I believe that Toronto this year. I believe that Toronto will just be kind of too much for Texas as far as their pitching, even though Texas has the best record in all of football or in all of baseball right now. I think that Toronto will beat them out 4-2 in a series in advance to face the Red Sox in the ALCS. On the NL side, you would have the Giants over the Mets to face the Cubs. Then you would have the Dodgers and the Nationals facing off. Okay, so I would have Cubs over Giants. No offense, Giants. I know you like to pull your even year things, but I just don't think it's happening this year. And Cubs over Giants to face. Unfortunately, Dodgers fans, I don't see you guys getting out of the first round in the Nationals because I believe by that point they will have Steven Strasburg back. So we're going to do Nationals over Dodgers, Cubs over Giants, which would see the Cubs and the Nationals facing off in the NLCS. So let's go back to the ALCS, which at this point I see being Toronto and Boston. I see Boston winning that series to get back to the World Series, I believe, for the first time since 2012. But I believe Boston will win that series 4-2 as well. Boston's pitching is just too good, and their hitting has just gotten really hot. Betts is an amazing hitter, as well as Bogaerts. So that's who I see reaching the World Series. On that side is the Boston Red Sox on the AL side. On the NL side, like I said, I see Cubs and Nationals facing off. I think that's going to be a pretty exciting series as the Nationals end up falling to the Cubs 4-2 and having the Cubs and Red Sox. So it's a Theo Epstein World Series as we see Theo Epstein facing off against his old team in the Red Sox for the Cubs' first World Series championship in over 100 years. So keep that in mind. Cubs, Red Sox, I know it's the popular pick, but it's the popular pick for a reason. They're both very good teams, and I see both teams finishing the season strong and barring injury, being able to reach the World Series. So that's been Double K's Fresh Take for this week. Be sure to catch me on YouTube. You can catch me at the Double KKW YouTube channel. You can also catch me on Double K's Classroom every other Friday night on Spreaker.com on my podcast. You can catch me on Sundays on West Coast Bias. You can catch me on Twitter at Double KKW or at West Coast Bias 2. Yeah, that's it. Y'all have a great day. I've been Double K. Peace.